What are the best processors in terms of value for money for June 2020 based on Amazon prices for budget, mid, high-end and the extreme high-end desktops after the release of Intel's 10th Gen Comet Lake processors and AMD's leaked specs on its Zen 2 XT refresh. Firstly, it should be noted that Intel's processors are in very short supply, very hard to get most of their processors, whilst AMD's are in very good supply. So you can easily buy an AMD processor, whilst you're going to find it hard to get hold of an Intel. I don't know why. What's the difference in supply disruption? Anyway, Intel, you're going to find it hard to get. Let's start with the budget end, and I'm going to save you time. I already put them in bold, which I consider to be the best processor in each category. For the budget end, it has to be the Ryzen 7 2700X, couple of years old now, but it still comes out at best value for money and provides good multi-core performance as per Cinebench and pass mark scores, as well as in terms of frames per second for the likes of Tomb Raider. Costs $229 on Amazon currently, although for gamers you want to focus more on the single core performance rather than multi-core. In that case, you might want to head along and get the Ryzen 3 3300X, which is a 4-core 8-thread processor, and that costs $210. It gives you higher performance in terms of single core. Also, I should mention the 4790K 6-year-old processor still holding its own, giving you good single core and good multi-core performance. So it's still doing well. 23% of the performance of a 3950X, although the price has gone up. The only reason I'm mentioning it that you might be better off getting a second-hand 4790K processor system. They could probably buy for between $500 and $600 used. So that might be a good option for a budget computer based on a 4790K. It will decent gaming performance. I think that'll be able to run virtually all the games currently, and decent multi-score. Okay, so the best processor for budget is the 2700X Ryzen 7, and for if you're a gamer and not bothered about multi applications and whatnot, then you might want to go for the 3300X. That costs $210. What about mid-range? Again, Intel's 10th gen is not doing anything. Didn't do anything for the budget. Look, $10,600K, $340. That's a stupid price. They've outpriced themselves out of the market. Same as the case for the mid-range. The 10700K costs $550. This is why the 3700X wins, costs half as much, and with near similar performance, in fact beating it on Passmark multi-score. That's absolutely fine for gaming as well. So again, for mid-range, 3700X Ryzen 7. The Intel processors 9th and 10th gen just don't cut it. They're not worth it. Not value for money. No. There's no competition. What about high-end desktop for a system around say $2,500 to $3,500? Well, it has to be the 3900X. It gives you a very good multi-score performance and decent single score, 511. That you can play any game with that. 12 cores, 24 threads. The 10th gen does not compete with it. Look, it might have a slightly higher turbo, but it doesn't perform as well. Look at the price. It's nearly triple the price of a 3900X that costs $416 now, compared to about $1,100 for the 10th gen 10900K. I don't know what the hell's Intel doing. They're not competing. 10 core 20 thread versus 12 core 24 thread. In fact, the 10900K costs more than the 3950X, which is $400 to $700. Well, that's better value for money at 13.1 against 10. But I would suggest you get the 3900X unless you got spare funds for a 3950X. The reason I say this is because you can always upgrade. Whereas if you get the 3950X, that's the top of the range. You're not going to be able to upgrade your processor after this. Plus it's got a lower base clock, which means it's not as good for gaming. So the 3900X is the best processor, all-round processor for productivity and gaming. Whilst if you're more focused on productivity and not really interested in gaming, then get the 3950X. If that's all you're interested in is gaming, then yeah, you could go for the 1900KS or even the 10900K, but you're gonna pay a lot for a little difference. It's gonna make marginal difference against the 3900X. 10900K, but you're paying nearly triple the price. It's not value for money. Intel have blown it. What about AMD's XTs? They'll be coming out soon, and unfortunately they're not value for money either. For instance, 3900 XT costs about, I think, 25% more for about 3% increase in performance. It's not worth it. So the 3900X is still some 6 months on, more than 6 months since it was released, still the best processor for a high-end desktop costing around, say, $3,000. AMD are just not good value for money. Oh, it's the 10900K 6.1. This is rubbish. What about extreme high-end? Say you could spend over $5,000 on a system. Well, what clearly stands out is the 3960X. That's got decent single core and excellent multi-core. Now the reason I've picked this one over, say, the 3970X or 3990X, apart from price, 1350 is a decent price. It's just less than half what it would cost for a 3950X, but with 50% greater performance is that you can upgrade the 3960X in the future. You can sell this processor on eBay and then go for a 3970X, or more likely a 3990X that currently costs $3,450. So it's come down in price. It was about $4,000 a few months ago. That's come down $500 in price. The 3960X hasn't come down much, maybe $50 or $150 at most, $50. And the 3970X has come down about $100. But for a high-end extreme desktop, it will be a 3960X for around a 5K machine. What about Intel? What are they doing here? 10980XE, $1,500 for worse performance. Worse on single core, worse on multi-core. They're not competing. Look, 480 on Cinebench single against 510 for 360. Multi, look, is nowhere near. In fact, his performance is around 97% of the 3950X. You might as well get the 3950X than a 10980XE. That costs twice as much. They're not competing. The 10th gen Intel processors are a big fat flop. They're not value for money, they're overpriced. Maybe if they were half the price that they're selling them at, then they would be value for money, but not at the current price. And if your money's no option, you should go for a 3990X. Oh, I've got it twice here. For some reason I've listed it twice. You go for a 3990X. Let me remove that one. So for some reason I've got it listed twice here. Delete. But that system is going to cost you $10,000. If money's no option, say you got $10,000 to burn, then you should go for the 3990X, unless you're building a server and you need the channels, PCI lanes and whatnot, and memory channels. I think the 3990X is limited to 256 gigabyte of RAM, interesting, whilst the Epic goes up to around 2 terabytes. But otherwise, if you're not building a server, then 3990X performs 265% of a 3950X. But I would, if you want value for money, you would go for a 3960X or even a 3970X if you need the extra cores. So 24 cores, 48 threads is going to be overkill for most productivity tasks. That's going to give you future proofing. And if you do need the cores later on, you can just jump straight to a 64 core and sell your existing processor on eBay, get some money back, as that price is undoubtedly going to fall from 3,450 all the way down to probably under 3,000 and under 2,000 eventually by the time you upgrade. So the 3960X gives you an excellent upgrade path, whilst the 3990X zero upgrade path, you're at the top end of the range. So that's the best processors for June 2020. Basically, Intel's a big fat flop. 10 core 20 thread processors. Why would you get that when you can get a 3900X 12 core 24 thread? If someone can leave a comment of why you would get a 10 core processor. And similarly for the 10980XE with its 18 cores, 36 threads, why would you get that when you can get, a 3960X 24 core 48 thread that performs better? Let's see, performs better on single core and multi-core, much better value for money and performance. I don't know what Intel are playing at. It's like, unless they get the act together and actually deliver us, for instance, a quantum computer, I don't see they're just going to go down the tubes. It's also a good reason why you should be invested in AMD shares, because they are smoking hot. Their processors, and not just in terms of CPU temperatures, but they're delivering what they promise. And in about, say, 4 months' time, we'll be seeing the release of Zen 3 processors. Its 4th gen 4000 series. We'll get at least a 4900X, and we may get lucky with the 4950X, and then we might see the 4960, 4970 Threadrippers and see what they're like. But in terms of the best processor for June, it has to be the best overall processor for June 2020. Still the 3900X. $416 for a 12 core 24 thread processor that smokes the competition. Smokes the chip that costs twice as much, the 10900K, and blows it out of the water. Intel's latest, newest chip, 10 core 20 thread processor, and it costs nearly triple the 3900X, and it just blows it away. Matches it in single core, blows it away in multi-core. The only thing going for the 10900K that it's got a 5.3 gigahertz boost clock, but the base clock is crappy, 3.7. So the best overall processor in June 2020 is still the 3900X. Great value for money. You could configure a great system for under $3,000, probably around $2,500 if you go for less RAM maybe and fewer hard drives. So that's the best overall processor for June 2020, as it was for when I last looked at them in February, and probably will remain so right up until the launch of the Zen 3 processors. Then we'll see what the 4900X is like. Early indications are it's going to be a 12 core processor, but hopefully they'll increase the core count to 16. And I don't know what they're going to deliver for the 3950X. There's no 4950X. There's no news on that yet. I'm wishing for more than 16 cores, maybe 20. Then that would compete against the Threadrippers. Okay, so I'll see you again in a few months' time with another update of the best processors for probably June 2020, when AMD releases its 4000 series processors. Well, some of them anyway. I don't think they'll give info on the 4950X until later in the year. Do subscribe for new videos in what are the best processors and the latest tech as it's released. But the disappointment for June is the AMD XD refreshes are not worth it. You don't want to pay 20 to 30% more for about 3% increase in processing power. No, this is a gimmick. The main event will be the 4000 series of processors. Again, do subscribe for new videos. Peace out.